Hi, it's Kai and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing this classic frosty, like holiday party appropriate makeup because I know it's the beginning of December and a lot of people are probably having a lot of holiday parties, work parties, that type of thing to go to, and I really enjoyed those. That was one of my favorite things about working with corporate, honestly, like dressing up for the party and doing my makeup all fancy. So this is a makeup look that I probably would have done in years past. It's again classic red lip, like kind of silvery, you know, very whimsical type of eye, and I really like the way that it looks. I feel like it would be honestly a nice look for every day in winter if you like wearing a red lip and something a little bit more for the eyes. But anyway, let's stop the chatter and just get into the video. Eyes are primed, face is primed, brows are brow gelled, and I think I will be able to get most of what I'm going for from this little palette. This is the Fenty Beauty Snap Shadows mix and match eyeshadow palette, and this is the One True Neutrals palette, which honestly, like, I feel like some of them sway a little bit more, maybe warm, but it is what it is. They named it what they named it, and I am just going to take the crease shade, this mid-tone brown, and put that in the crease. How revolutionary.
So I wanna buy these shoes from my mama, please. It's Christmas time and these shoes are just her size. Could you hurry, please? There's just not much time.
And then I am going to actually mix this shade. It's like a almost coppery-ish shade, but like a little bit more warm than or cool than copper would be. I don't know, almost a penny shade. And then there is also this like lighter shade. All of that is semantics, and I am just going to take a mixture of I'm just going to take a mixture of those because I want something that isn't too warm toned, it isn't too cool toned, you know what I'm saying? And I also feel like the pink alone can sometimes be a little bit bright. Oh, my children must have been playing over here in my makeup corner. And then I'm gonna go back in with some more of the crease shade and just blend those two together. And then to give it that like sparkliness, that sparkly look, I'm going to take the Smoke Reflect from Arc Beauty, and I'm just going to use the topper shade, which is like a kind of rosy silvery gold or pink, maybe rose gold, rose silver. No, please don't tell me mine is getting, oh, just kidding. Thought it was getting a little bit of pan, which it might be because sometimes my fingers have like lotion and stuff on them, and the like oils from your finger or other brushes is what can often cause hard pan on your eyeshadows. But this just again gives it more of that like frosty flecked look. And of course we're gonna blend. I don't think I want to do harsh like black winged liner, but I do feel like, you know, these kind of classic holiday looks have a little bit of like winged liner, at least the ones that I've done in the past have. So I'm gonna take this deepest brown shade, and if it's not deep enough I might, you know, dip into another palette or something like that, but I'm just gonna take that and make some winged liner out of that. Yeah, I actually think that is nice and just adds like the slightest little touch. I'm actually going to take a little bit of a smudger brush and soften it just a little bit. So of course this is the boring part of every single one of my videos, my face routine, because it stays pretty much the same since I'm working, since I'm working on the project pan. You can come up here. So this is the Too Faced Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer in the shade Maple, which is too deep for me. My cats, there's like a little cat wall, you know, cat shelves on the wall. So they love coming up here when I'm actually sitting at this desk doing my makeup and playing around and just surveying the apartment. And then I have also this Hailey's Beauty concealer that is discontinued. I mix those two together so that I get a shade that is, you know, remotely close to the shade that will work as concealer for me, because I'm just trying to finish those things up. I'm planning out my project pan for next year. I think I've kind of talked about that a little bit, and I've just kind of been like, okay, what do I want to what do I want to do? How do I want to structure things? Do I want to do the same thing I did this year where I basically just tried to finish a product to completion? Do I want to do it like seasonal, like monthly, you know, quarterly, where I'm switching out products every once in a while so that I'm not feeling quite as, you know, fatigued by using the same products, and I'm also able to like switch out products more for videos and, you know, use and just try other products in my collection. I don't know how else to say that, because as satisfying as it is to finish a product like all the way down to the end, it's also, again, just as I said before, a little bit stifling to the creativity to kind of, you know, just consistently use the same products over and over again. And like, your foundation routine is something where I guess that more than other categories I feel okay with using the same products over and over again, but still I am a person who needs a little bit of novelty. I'm sure that's the ADHD part of my brain that is just like, okay, you need something different, something new, something a little bit changed. Same thing here, the Milani stick foundation in the shade Nutmeg, which I also talked about, I think, in a recent video, about how sometimes I feel like we're losing recipes when it comes to the beauty community, and it's okay that like not everyone has been here for a long time and knows everything. And I also do know that I have a photographic and probably more extensive memory than a lot of people do. It's like I can't remember where I put my keys, but I can remember products that were released and when and stuff like that. So specifically with this Milani foundation, it looks like Milani has teased coming out with a foundation, and so many people are like, oh my gosh, we're finally getting a Milani stick foundation. And I'm just like, no, not finally, they're relaunching it. And the part that gets me a little bit, that I feel like is almost the moral dilemma of that, is like, it's one thing if a brand, I feel like, you know, says this is a relaunch of a product, you know what I'm saying? But it's another thing when they start advertising the product as if it never existed when it did. I feel like maybe that's where we get some of the Mandela effect. Because it's like, yeah, I definitely remember, and in this case I have a Milani stick foundation, and if it's not a foundation and it's some other type of stick product, then I'll come back on here and take back my words. But if what they are launching is in fact a foundation, or a foundation stick to be particular, it's just going to be like, okay, this has already existed before. And as I said in that previous video, I understand that it's just kind of the lifestyle of the beauty world, you know, things sell well, or you launch them, you get a lot of hype around them, they sell really well, the sales start to peter off eventually, unless it just happens to be like a superstar breakout product, which this isn't a bad foundation by any means, but it's definitely not something that I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna buy it every single time I need foundation. I feel like it works pretty averagely to a lot of the foundations out there. So again, while it's nice, it's not necessarily something where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I even have to buy it when it relaunches, instead of using one of the many foundations and skin tints that I already have in my collection. I was actually looking at threads because I got sucked into threads. I hardly make threads. Sometimes I'll respond when someone asks something that I have like knowledge about. Like if someone's like, oh, does anyone have recommendations for these types of perfumes? I'll do something like that. Bronzer is going to be the Butter Bronzer like usual. But that's the only time that I'll really answer or do many things on threads, or sometimes when I disagree about something. Like recently someone, which is a whole other topic, I'll go into that later, or possibly a separate video on that, because I feel like it's something that I might have to expound on so much. But anyway, I long story short, I basically just don't really use threads like that. I left Twitter even before Elon Musk acquired it, just because I realized that it was truly a cesspool of negativity and that I didn't need to hear everyone's random thoughts all the time. And while I know TikTok is, you know, somewhat the same way, I feel like, you know, we're just hearing people's thoughts, but this time it has a face to it. But I do feel like there is something a little bit different with being able to attach your face to the stance that you're making versus being able to hide behind a faceless, nameless profile if you choose. Of course, there's plenty of people on Twitter or Threads or wherever that use like their face and their likeness and all of that stuff, but I felt like on Twitter a lot of people were able to hide behind anonymous pages to spread, not even just spread negativity, even somewhat spread positivity. If you are a Black woman, you probably remember the emo Black thought of it all. Like that was, I think that was kind of around the time where I was just kind of like, I think I need to wrap it up with that, because I had also been in this group chat started by a influencer that I really liked at the time, and this one girl basically what do you call it, catfished everyone in the group and was hiding behind like a profile that wasn't her to bully the rest. I could do a story time if you want me to. That was such a wild ride, and obviously I don't remember all of the details, but I remember enough that it was just kind of like, that was one of the moments where I was like, okay, this is some main character stuff. Like, I never like to be like, I'm the main character and other people are side characters, because everyone is the main character in their own story. But like, that felt like a movie plot line that I was involved in, so it felt very main character in that way. It was crazy. I'm gonna go back into the Fenty palette and take a mixture of the two matte shades I use, the medium brown and then the deeper brown, and put that on the lower lash line just to kind of build out, you know, some lower lash line liner, a little bit of smokiness, and connect it up to the wing that I have on the upper lash line. What was my original point that I was even getting to? I feel like I detoured off so hard that I can't really remember what I was originally saying, where I was originally going with that thought. We're losing recipes. I remember that portion of it. I was on Threads. I don't really use it, but anyway, I got sucked into Threads. That's where I was going with that. I got sucked into Threads because on Instagram they always show you like parts of the thread, and then you can't see the whole thing unless you download it. So I just decided to download it since it's already basically integrated with Instagram anyway, and I don't really use it. But I did see a thread that was said something to the degree of, like, it was this person who was in marketing realizing that like marketing is all manipulation, and manipulation is not necessarily a dirty word. I don't want people, I think I want to use this, well, if I, no, I want to use this. This is the NYX Sweet Cheeks Soft Cheek Tint Blush. I'm going to use this because I want to use a red lip, and I feel like shades like this, like kind of reddish blush, looks better than like more purpley. Because this is like, it's not a super, you know, pink blush by any means. That's it. It's like a brick shade, a little bit more pink than a brick, but it's a really pretty blush shade. Gives a nice like cold flush to the face. Again, I don't really know where all of that was connecting because I got a little bit sidetracked in my own mind, but she was basically coming to the realization that marketing is somewhat manipulation, and I feel like that relates to brands relaunching a product that they already had, but enough people didn't know about it, I guess, or it didn't sell well enough that, you know, they can essentially relaunch it while making it seem like it's a completely new product. So again, I'm going to see if how they market, if it is a foundation stick, how Milani markets it, and whether they basically try to market it as if they like have never had it before, or if they say that it's a rebrand, they bought it back, etc. Because if they do the opposite, if they basically act like this has been in existence the whole time, it just kind of again hints back around to the ColourPop drop of a hat. But that marketing is basically manipulating your customer into believing a certain reality, and basically that reality being, you know, that they need your product for whatever their aim is. They want to be prettier, they want to be glowier, they want to be better. That's even how some whole brands kind of market their products. Like, I think, was it Merit that did this? I think they had like an advertisement that was, I guess, kind of old school. You know, those pull tab, you know, I'm looking for XYZ, a roommate, and you pull tab for the number. And I want to say that they did that, and it was something about brows, and the marketing copy was just really kind of, you know, petty, and kind of the kind of mean girl marketing is what I've termed it, where it makes you feel insecure about some feature or something that is completely normal in order to sell you a product. I am going to do some freckles with my Freck XL because I actually haven't really been doing freckles for some of my looks, or very minimal freckles. Like my Glinda makeup, I didn't do freckles for that, and I actually went the whole day without putting any freckles on. So I feel like that is worthy of some praise, you know. I cannot remember the last time, other than, you know, just slapping on some tinted moisturizer and going, that I didn't do faux freckles, at least a few with my makeup. So, and I also have a little pimple down here, and when I have pimples, especially ones near my lips, they automatically become like a cute little mole. That's law. It's almost time to take the stopper out of this one, it seems. I am just so close to finishing this up, and I really want to finish it up, so I am going to put it on top of my makeup, even though I don't usually like to, because this setting spray is a little bit on the, you know, dewy side. But my skin, it also is feeling a little bit dry. And then I'm going to do mascara as that all dries with the e.l.f. Lash Extender, which this is a really nice mascara, despite my gripes as I have previously talked about with tubing mascaras and kind of feeling like they're a little bit of a chore to take off versus being so easy the way that they're kind of advertised. This mascara really does give good definition, length, volume, the whole 9 yards. Okie dokie, and for lips, of course, we are going to go for that classic red, but when I do red lips, I personally like starting with a deeper red or like burgundy colored lip liner. So I'm going to use NYX Plum because this is the deepest red liner that I have. It's their slim lip pencils, I think that's what they're called, or this just looks like lip liner pencil. Anyway, shade Plum, everything will be linked below. And I like to do a little bit of like a thicker, you know, lip line just so that it ends up being more of a gradient versus feeling like, okay, you have this like super dark lip line and then the brighter red in the middle. And I do like to color basically like the inside of my bottom lip in just because I have more hyperpigmentation around those areas, but of course do lip liner the way that you like to do lip liner. Of course, I hate sometimes with how the lip, well, I don't hate it, it's just a little bit more of a challenge, or something that aesthetically I'll say irks me a little bit, but like the way that my lips are, trying to like actually line them, like I either look like everything's bleeding or like the lip line isn't completely complete. And I've tried the different tips and tricks and stuff from different makeup artists. The way that my lips are set up, it just, none of them really work to make it actually look like complete. So it's just something that I've learned to deal with. I think it's partially because I have a little bit of darkness in my mouth corners because I smile a lot, I have a lot of smiles, lines and stuff like that. And then for lips, I'm going to use this Give Beauty, this is their I'm Still Here liquid lipstick in the shade Original Recipe, which is like the classic Gwen Stefani red shade. And then I just put a very thin layer on. Again, I'm taking my finger to kind of blot it because again, I like blotted lips. I feel like for my lip shape and makeup preferences that it looks better on me than like a really, because this is still, I would say, a full pigment red lip, but it just doesn't look so harsh. Like I have this one picture, I'll put it here, but if this picture gets out anywhere else, I know it was y'all, okay, because no one except my family has this picture. But one holiday where I was using a red lipstick, specifically it was Fenty Beauty, which we all know how pigmented and full thick pigment these are, but it is uncensored from Fenty Beauty, this classic red shade. Honestly, I should have used this today. Well, not should have, could have used it and it would have been nice and fun and everything, but I didn't. I'm gonna take my concealer brush and just kind of clean up this outer corner a little bit. But it was before I really, I guess, understood lip liner and like how I like to do my makeup, and again, how makeup looks best on me. But it is the epitome. Even if I put a lip liner on it, like I might go and Procreate while editing this video or waiting for it to upload and alter this so that it looks like I have a lip liner on, a deeper lip liner, the way that I did with this, which honestly I feel like you can't even really tell that there was a deeper lip liner added. It just gave more dimension to the lipstick, and that's really what I was going for, to make this look like less of like a flat pigment red and have, you know, a little bit more dimension. But again, that's just the way that I like to do my red lips. Some people rock a really full pigment, just like matte red lip. It's not for me, as we see from that photo, but I'm gonna probably go and Procreate and try to add as much of a lip liner without it looking like too out of place, just like a slightly deeper shade of red. I'll even use the color picker so that it's within the same undertones and everything. but I don't feel like even just having lip liner would save that. I think for me, with deeper colors, they look a lot better on me with like the blotted lip look. And even, honestly, not even just deeper colors. I think that at this point it's just preference. That's just the way that I like to do my makeup and how I feel it looks prettiest on me. Anyway, this is it for that kind of classic holiday frosty makeup. If you have a holiday party, please tell me about it in the comments. Let me know if you do this makeup. Let me know if you do other makeup. Like, I don't know, I just want to hear about it, because that is the one part of like working my corporate job that I miss just like maybe a little, is like the holiday party. I like dressing up. I liked being like not the center of attention, but I always wore outfits that were very much like, oh my gosh, you look so nice, like that type of thing. I always, you know, I always did a little bit more, a little bit of the most, but in the best way possible. And so I kind of miss that. But yeah, I hope you have fun if you are going to a holiday party. Again, I would love to hear about it in the comments. I hope you're safe and healthy wherever you are when you're watching this, and that you enjoyed this video. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one.